ourselves. Are these extravagant grand promises?
We think not.
We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. From the big book, Alcoholics Anonymous, page 83 and 84. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Rob. I'm an alcoholic. All right, and today is day 837 for me. And you know, it's just it's kind of funny when they say about self-seeking will slip away. I think you never will stop seeking. You know what I mean? But as far as like the self-loathing, the self-pity, woe is me, that will slip away. You know, pointing fingers will slip away. Accountability will be the number one driving force in your in your journey. Well, at least for me, in a way. You know, it's kind of been. It was just kind of funny too because just this morning I just received a phone call and I found out that somebody that I've known for a while just recently passed away. And the reason why that person passed away, the person unfortunately drank themselves to death. And every time I get these phone calls, it's always, ever since I stopped drinking, right? Every time I get these phone calls of somebody passing away from an overdose or over drinking or, you know, something of that nature, it's just further confirmation that I just made the right choice, you know? And you know, stopping drinking is one thing. Staying stopped is another. And how do you stay stopped? Well, you stay stopped by stopping your old those stuff that you used to do. When I first started off here, I was attending 3 meetings a day, and it became my everything. Recovery has become my everything. I've lost jobs, you know, lost friends, so-called friends or whatever. But the one thing I have not lost is my recovery. That's number one. Without that, I wouldn't have, without having my sanity, all that other stuff, jobs and friends, people come and go, you know, jobs come and go. But your sobriety is your foundation. But at least for me, it's my number one priority. I remember when I was just in my 20s and you know, I'm drinking and I'm partying like a madman. And somebody asked me, he's like, you know, do you see yourself ever stopping from drinking or whatever? I'm like, hell no. The only way I'm stopping from drinking, I got to be dead, right? And it's just funny too because it was just like once you first start getting into when I first started getting into AA and stuff like that, all the stuff that I said I would never do, I'm actually doing. You know? Oh man, you wouldn't catch me dead being in a room full of people talking about, you know, this, that, and the third. I thought AA people or people who came in these groups and stuff like that was just really, really, really like lonely, desperate. You know, I just had a lot of negative connotations when I came to it, people in AA. But until I started doing it, I was just like, wow, this isn't bad at all, you know? Because it was something new. And it was something that it required me to get out of my comfort zone, you know, and establish, because that's what it's all about. It's like if you want to change requires you to obviously not do the things that you used to do. And the first meeting I attended was extremely boring. But I said to myself, I was just like, okay, this is just a trap. This is a trap for me to say, all right, you know what, F this, I gave it a try. All right, let me go back to the liquor store and just do what I was normally doing. It wasn't until it was my second meeting, actually it was my third meeting, when I came across an awesome person that told me about an app, and I downloaded an app, and it was just like, oh my God, it was all these meetings available all over the place. I just, what they say, I just went fishing. I just kept constantly going to meetings, random meetings, and I found this place. In the morning, I was in Southie. The afternoon, I was here, and at night, I was in State Street. So it was just, okay, great. I found my meetings. I have my sponsor. I'm ready to rock and roll. Then my sponsor informed me about these 12-step meetings, right? Now, I went to my first 12-step meeting, and it was just like, oh, wow, okay, this is the meat and potatoes of AA right here. And yeah, it was pretty scary, It was because it was just like, it's this one thing to, to stop drinking, like I said before, but 12 steps is just like, that's the meat and potatoes of AA. Staying stuck, constantly evaluating yourself, making amends to people that you hurt. And it's just, especially that step right there is the amends part. Because with some people, it's just like, they deserve to be cussed out. It's like they deserved it. But what the main thing is the art of humility. And I had to ask myself, it's like, have I been a humble person? And the answer is no. So now it's just like taking the steps towards being humble, letting things roll off your back, not allowing people to trick you out of your position, not being so impulsive, and each and every day is a gradual process. You just don't change overnight because you didn't become an alcoholic overnight. And that's just what it was. As I was explaining to me and my sponsor, it's just like it's impossible for you to be lost in the woods for 15 years and come out in 2. So it's just like, the wreckage of the past, all of that stuff. Yeah, it's there for a reminder, and and it's going to take time for you to to build yourself back up, to the new you. So that's all I've been doing each and every day. We say in jail, you're stacking up days. And in AA, it's the same thing here. It's just like I'm just stacking up days. But not so much me stacking up days, it's what I'm doing with those days. See, how you spend your time is ultimately going to dictate whether or not you're going to, quote unquote, relapse. And I got one swear word. My sponsor says, you don't relapse, you fuck up. Yeah, that's it. I told you I got one. You don't relapse. But see, that's the thing. And and it was just like, okay, cool. I don't want to disappoint him, So it was just like, because I remember this one time I came from the meeting, and it was like probably my first, maybe second week in recovery, and I remember I came out of the meeting and I saw all of these attractive women walking into a friggin' bar. And I had a pocket full of money at the time, you know what I mean? And I was just like, oh, what the hell was this? And as soon as I called my sponsor, he just told me, run to the train station.
Good idea.
And I took off like a bat out of hell to the train station. Yes, of course. I mean, it was just crazy too, because they were always just like, it was middle of the summer, and it was just like, just smiley, pretty girls heading to the bar, and I was just like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? Temptation, resist temptation. And I did. And I said, you know what? This is cool. And if I could resist this, I could resist more, And again, but see, the thing is, now I don't put myself in predicaments where I know I'm going to be tempted, and it's kind of funny because one of my buddies called me the other day. He was just like, yeah, man, I noticed that as soon as you stop drinking, you stop hanging out at bars. I'm like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Excuse me, that's true. You know,
That's not bad.
it's just what you're gonna do. But you know, but it was just again gradually. It was just the little things that add up to the big things. You know what I mean? And knowing that I just don't know everything, and just be surrounded around people who've had like 1 billion years of sobriety. You know, that helps as well. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm just basically a sponge, and they're soaking up a lot of information since I got here. And I just kept coming here, and I love when we say, "Oh, just keep coming." That's just what it is. Like anything else, you become good at what you practice, and I really believe that, like, if you continuously you practice, you put in the work, you put in all the, you do the things. There are times where it's just like, I don't feel like going to a meeting. Those are the best times to go to meetings, when you don't feel like going, when you rather be doing anything else, and it's just like, the more I kept coming, the more adapted I became to this philosophy, which is basically this: we don't drink no matter what, and and I know it's easier said than done, but it's possible. It's possible. I met so many wonderful people here, and I just couldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for the people around here. It wasn't for, my foundation and whatnot. So it's just that, everyone tells me, yeah, you're doing a great job. It's just not me alone. And that's very important, because this is impossible to do all by yourself. You're gonna need a foundation around you. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys are football fans or not, but football is the ultimate team sport, where it's just like you got 11 guys. Everybody's got to be on the same page, because if they're not, then you know what I mean? Bad things happen. So that's just what it is. It's just like my foundation around me, makes me the man that I am today. You know what I mean? And also, so obviously, I had to make the choice of making the move of finally just relying on my foundation. You know what I mean? As opposed to just going against the grain. So it's just, I won't say that I have changed, but what I say is I have learned. And once you learn, change is inevitable. And with that being said, thank you guys very much. We're gonna, thank you. Yeah, the 7th tradition.
Wow, great to meet you, Mr.
Oh, thank you, sis. Thank you, big sis.
Come on, sir.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Thanks for jumping up here.
Oh, yeah. Boom.
This, I finish it later.
All right, thank you, Steve.
No, this is for you. I have that too. I've had it. But I think
My guy. All right. All right, topic. Okay, gratitude. My guy.
Hey, thank you. I'm Jim, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, thank you. I'd like to go to the first step where my life became unmanageable. I was a teenager, and I really didn't get into alcohol too much because I saw how abusive my dad was to my mom when I was a little kid. And as I was a teenager, I tried a little bit here and there, and I realized I was doing some stupid shit. And I said to myself, geez, you know, I wouldn't be doing that if I was normal. Why am I doing stuff like this now? And then this brings me to the first step where my life became unmanageable because alcohol decided to run my life.
Right.
You know, and it decided to give me a different feeling about how my mom raised me. And the more I drank, the more trouble I got into, and the more I said to myself, why am I doing this? And when I got to the age of 21, I decided that I don't like it. I don't like what it's doing to me, and I don't like how my family's reacting, so I'm gonna stop. So I decided to stop for 30 years. 30 years sobriety. Not once did I ever have the desire to drink again in those 30 years. I coached my kids in sports. I raised a family of four kids. I got married when I was 25. I stopped drinking when I was 21. So I got married when I was 25, and I wasn't into alcohol at the time. And life was good. I mean, everything was beautiful. I mean, flowers in the yard, garden, swimming pool, kids being happy, and, you know, just having good neighbors. And as I got older, I had 3 girls. That was my firstborn, and then my son was my last one. But the 3 girls, when they got into their teenage years, I didn't realize what life was really talking about, because growing up in the projects and being street smart and raising my kids in a neighborhood where they don't know what this stuff is like. I had to take one of my daughters out of the public school system and put her in Blue Hill Regional because I saw that she was mixing up with the wrong crowd. And me and the wife, we really had mixed emotions about it because my wife grew up in a nice neighborhood where, you know, when you grow up in the projects and you grow up in the city, it's a lot different than the suburbs, you know? And you can leave your bike on the front lawn, but in the city, it will be gone. And I tried to tell my wife that my daughter was, she's mixing with the wrong crowd, and I really would like to, and my wife really, she really got on my case thinking that I was so hard on my daughter. Well, my daughter was a licensed hairdresser from Blue Hill Regional High School at the age of 16. She was one of the youngest hairdressers in the state of Massachusetts at the age of 16. And she still does it today for a living. And, you know, I really feel proud that I made that decision to move her from the crowd that she was in, because, you know, things happen. Drugs, alcohol, fentanyl, all that shit happens, and she lost a lot of her friends at the young age of 20s, you know, and I'm glad that I made that decision for my daughter. But my life became unmanageable when I became like 52 years old. I stopped drinking when I was 21, and 52 years old, I figured, you know what? My kids are in their 20s. They grew up in a good house. They had a good dad. They had a good family. Maybe, just maybe, instead of me being the DJ at the cookouts and all the family gatherings and me being the hero of the family and stuff like that, I felt I was missing out. You know? I didn't realize that alcoholism was deep inside my body. And I told the wife, you know what? Maybe, just maybe someday, you know, I can have a couple of drinks and enjoy it with you guys, because I was sad growing up in the projects and not having much, not being able to play baseball because my mother didn't have $3 to sign me up for the baseball program, and I felt I was better than some of the kids that were already on the baseball teams. And I really didn't have much. I mean, a lot of us here remember Globe Santa, you know? That goes to the families who didn't have much money and, you know, really didn't have much support. My mom got divorced when I was 8 years old, and I didn't have a dad in my life, my whole life growing up. And I had to like grow up real fast. 10 years old, I was like being the man of the house. You know, Mom didn't have anybody, and I sort of like took the responsibilities of whether I had to stick up for my brother or my sisters, or help Mom out with things that she didn't have a dad, you know? And that really put a struggle on me on my whole life. And that's the way I grew up. And when I finally got to like 21 years old, when I decided that I didn't want to have alcohol in my body anymore, the real me came out. And I wanted to give my kids something that I missed all my life, you know? Globe Santa? No, I didn't want them to have Globe Santa. I wanted them to have something from me and my wife that they enjoyed. And one of the favorite Christmases that I ever had was my daughter. She might have been like 9 years old, and she was in the soccer program, and the town had soccer jackets that had the name Get 'Em on it. And I remember when she opened that gift, she turned around and said, "Oh my God, a real denim jacket, a real denim jacket." And you know, and till this day, that made me so proud, because she really enjoyed something like that, and that's something that, you know what, I didn't get to enjoy in life, you know? And I wanted to give my kids something that I didn't have. And when I turned 52 years old and I became a real alcoholic, I really hurt. I hurt a lot of people, and I see it today because those 30 years of sobriety was so happy for me in my life, and my family was so happy, and now it's like I'm the black sheep of the family, you know. Alcohol decided that the feeling was good, and I isolated myself a lot, and I didn't want to ever be like that. So just recently, in the last month, I went away for a psych evaluation, and they made a triangle, and they said thoughts, feelings, behavior. And it doesn't matter how you look at that triangle, it all happens the same. If I behave wrong, I'm gonna have bad feelings, and then I'm gonna have the bad thoughts. And when I was isolating myself, I was like trying to be a mind reader, why people hate me. I know they hate me because of my drinking, but I was only drinking because they hated me. And growing up being a nice guy that I was, I said to myself, you know what? They shouldn't be treating me like this because I'm a really nice guy. But you know something? Alcohol has a different behavior. When you get behind alcohol and you decide alcohol is going to run your life, they don't like it. And by them not liking it, made me so depressed that I isolated myself. And when I isolated myself, I would sit alone and I would think of all the bad behavior that I did to make them this way. And I said to myself, I'm not that type of guy. I'm a really nice guy.
Right.
My mother raised me to be a nice gentleman, and alcohol decided that it's going to make me a different person. And by coming to this meeting and seeing everybody here, I really feel that I'm speaking from my heart. And I want to let you guys know that I needed a lot of help with the alcoholism, and I'm on the naltrexone to help me with my cravings and everything else. And things are starting to get better, but every once in a while, the wife gives me a little bit of criticism, and I understand. I made her that way, and I didn't want to make her that way. And the only way I can make her better is stop drinking. And the only way I can stop drinking is come here with you people like this and listen to a story from somebody who has a different avenue of how I became an alcoholic. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ken. Thank you.
Well, my name is Ken, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Ken.
Is this an anniversary?
No. Mine's just June 23rd.
I thought it was.
No, it's good to hear you, you know. You've got a good grasp
Thank you.
on recovery, and I like that a lot. You know, every so often I'll hear somebody say,
Thank you so much.
it doesn't sound complimentary when you hear it, but they'll say, I wish you a slow recovery. But it's true. You know, I understand what that means today. You know, the reason I say that is, in the winter time, I go away, you know, in the winter time, I belong to a group down in Florida, and wonderful people. but, I hate to use the word but that area generally, you get a lot of what they call the educational variety in recovery, you know? And that's not me. It's just not me. I don't remember chapter and verse, or I just don't. You know, what I'm grateful for is that I've been sober for 24 hours. And I understand, especially listening to you, Rob, the importance of God in my life. It really is. And if I could be perfect and I could have an educational remembrance of anything, it would be to understand that it's God that has taken me from day to day in my sobriety. And I learned things slowly in my slow recovery, you know. And I have to hear myself say that because it's so important. It's so important, you know. It's God that's gonna get me there. It's not, well, I hear other things from people, it depends what I hear and what I can take in. But the point is that I'm grateful that I understand that today. So when I hear somebody gratefully talk about how, how God has helped them in their life, I really and truly appreciate you on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, I'm alcoholic. and,
Hey.
I'm very glad to be here, grateful to be here, I guess, you know. And, there's a lot of little things I heard that I thought were interesting in a way. One of the things with me that was difficult to cope with was humility, you know? Because you know how it will say, like, you know, made a list of people and make amends to people you think you hurt and blah. And I really first had come to the idea that it wasn't really them that owed me an apology because I thought everybody screwed me over, you know? And I was very adamant, you know, but a lot of that was really kind of reservations. And I was lucky in a way. I ended up with this sponsor who was a woman, which I was kind of, you know, a little tiny woman. And I would go to like meetings after, to coffee after meetings, you know. And I would say to people, well, you know, I'd say, I have to go meet my brother, so I'll see you tomorrow, you know. And I'd go get high, you know. And so when I met this woman, she'd sit there with all over coffee, and she would say, I'd say, I gotta go meet my brother. And she'd say, you know, Glenn, if you want to go get high, just go get high. I couldn't believe it, you know what I mean? And then it trusted her more as time went on, you know. And the thing was, she kind of humbled me in a lot of ways. She'd get up, we'd go like leave, you know, driving home. And like I said, a little tiny thing, tall, you know? And she'd say, all right, let's go, shorty. You know, this kind of thing, you know. And but she told me about I really drank because and you know, with me it was into drugs and all at the end. I came to AA, I put the alcohol down, and picked up drugs, which I had never really taken before. And that took a couple more years, you know. And she said, well, I'd tell her, like, I might get screwed up, and she'd say, are you through? And I'd say, I don't think I am. And she'd say to me, well, why don't you go through and come and talk to me? And that's what I would do, you know. And then what happened is one day, it just didn't work anymore. None of it worked. Because AA ruined my drinking, my everything, you know. And that really pissed me off, you know. I was not happy to be here. I was happy before all that, you know. When I was in AA, I was being very entertained by everything, you know. It's funny because, you know, when I'm finding out at this age, you know, I kind of like being an old guy now, you know. It's really, like I heard this old woman say on the show, when you get here, you're gonna love it. And, you know, unless you really, you know, have a lot of, but I did have a lot of physical problems as well. And, but looking back at this, you know, point of, you know, place, I ended up, in other words, I'm aware that I have really lived a lot and done a lot of things, nothing that I actually ever expected that I was going to do or thought that I was going to do, you know. But it's interesting. I had a lot of things to do with my heart, you know, in the last 5 years. A lot of it took me 6 months to walk again. And, you know, just really unbelievable stuff out of nowhere, you know. But all those things were really to help me grow, you know, because I was very stuck wherever I was, you know. And I remember in the hospital, you know, you're telling your doctor, they're asking me your whole history, you know. And I thought, well, I should bring up because I've been sober, 45 years. And I should tell them that I used to drink. And so I did. So then I looked at my little child, or whatever it is, and it's, you know, all these different things about your life, and, you know. And then at the end it says, former heavy drinker. And for some reason, that really bothered me. Because there's no context. I could have been basically rolling around on the sidewalk all these years, which would have been fine, but I wasn't, you know? But I wanted, my pride was really hurt, you know what I'm saying? And, but I like being this age in a lot of ways, and, I really feel as though I've let go of a lot now. You know? And I go to a lot of different meetings. I did everything they asked me to do, hated most of it in the beginning, but I didn't drink, I didn't drug, you know. I was, you know, just kept, I went to, in the beginning I wanted to go to California. I was gonna be an actor, you know, I was gonna be a big shot, you know, until I got there and realized there are people in this world that really have talent. And you know,
Right.
and so that was, you know, kind of an eye-opening, you know, but I really enjoyed listening to other people.
Thank you,
Thank
man.
you.
Appreciate it. Any burning desires here? All right, if not, then Chippendale. Chips.
Early in the month. Okay, October 2025, tradition 10, Alcoholics Anonymous, there's no opinion on outside issues, NCAA names. I'll never be drawn into public controversy. Committee meetings coming up, it's Wednesday, the steering committee meets in person at Central Service, 12 Carroll Street, 604. Thursday night, the Cooperation with Professional Community meets, they're on Zoom, the numbers are here. If you're interested, there's a new group in Brookline Tuesday, Bit by Bit, at Bartlett at the Arcade, 318 Harvard Street, number 11, 6 to 7 p.m. It's a literature open discussion. Canton, the Second Chance on Wednesday, Second Chance Group on Wednesday is back meeting live at Trinity Church, 1 Blue Hill River Road, noon to 1 p.m. open discussion. Quincy Monday, first start, in person only at St. Chrysostom's, 523 Hancock Street, 7:30, 8:30 p.m. It's an open speaker meeting. Change of address at Canton, Thursday, Love and Tolerance, Big Brook Step Study is at Peckleside Farm, 79 Pleasant Street, 8:15 p.m. Open Big Brook 12-step meeting. There's several others if you want to look at this, but they're all up, you know, kind of out of town. Change of time, welcome Wednesday night is not 7:30, 8:30 p.m. at Trinity Episcopal Church. It's an open speaker meeting, not local. All right, those are interested, anniversaries coming up tonight, nothing too local, too soon. And the special events coming up, we have a flyer up here somewhere about, they're gonna have, on the table over there, AA's 80th anniversary is in Central Service.
Yeah.
And all up, and it's a Saturday, I think it's the first.
Cool.
I think it's the first of, and there's a little, at the bottom it says, please carpool, because you haven't been down there, there's very, very limited parking. So I'll find another way to get the kids, I'm trouble finding a parking space. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's do the tips. We have a customer giving out tips here for lunch and sobriety. The first one we give out here is just starting out, just coming back, 24 hours to 29 days, everybody just starting back.
What do we do?
Keep coming.
How about 1 month?
What do we do?
Keep coming.
Keep coming. 2 months?
What do we do?
Keep coming. 3 months?
Keep coming.
6 months? No more, it's blue when there's no more blue lights in the rear end of the car.
Keep coming.
Keep coming, and the last one we give out is 9 months. Anybody?
What do we do?
Okay, just to show the program works, if you have a year or more of sobriety, please raise your hand. And if you haven't had a drink or a substitute yet today, but it's early, give yourself and your higher power.
All right, Daily Reflections, October 6th is Facing Ourselves, and Fair says, you dare not look. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 49. How often I avoided a task in my drinking days just because it appeared so large. It is any wonder, even if I have been sober for some time that I will act that same way when faced with what appears to be a monumental job, such as searching a fearless moral inventory of myself. What I discovered after I have arrived at the other side, when my inventory is completed, is that the illusion was greater than the reality. The fear of facing myself kept me at a standstill, and until I became willing to put pencil to paper, I was arresting my growth based on and intangible. Thank you. Break time.